this video might get taken down. So before you even watch it, I need you to leave a like. I need you to reshare it. I need you to repost it on your status. And when you are done, I need you to leave a comment. As I'm speaking right now, someone in Lagos is standing in the middle of a Masonic blueprint and doesn't even know it. Someone else just walked past all the signs and was completely oblivious to it. Everybody, there is something fundamentally wrong with Nigerians. Welcome to day 9, part 5. Hello everyone. Today, we will be taking a journey to Broad Street. I need to take a look at this image being displayed. Take a look at this building. Note that this is 28 Broad Street, Lagos. This is the St. George's Hall. It's not a church or a government office or something like that. It is the headquarters of the Freemasons in Nigeria, and it was built in 1907. But here's the thing. I need you to take a closer look at this building. Does it look familiar? Probably you've seen it somewhere before and it just rings a bell. I know just where you've seen it. Take a look again. If you've seen the infamous temple on Little St. James, that is the Epstein Island, you'll see the exact same architectural design. Just take a look at it. I mean, if you feel like they are two completely different buildings, then maybe you are right. And I'm wrong. I'm wrong, okay? I am wrong. And if you remember, in our last episode, we mentioned the fact that Jeffrey Epstein might have been a member of the Freemason, or maybe just affiliated with a significant member of the Freemason. And not just that. We've all seen the Epstein file. We saw what was going on. We saw the rituals, the practices. We saw everything. I'm not insinuating anything is going on in Nigeria. I am absolutely not insinuating it. But I'm just saying. Now, also look at these massive pillars. In masonry, these armrests supports. They represent Jachin and Boaz, the two bronze pillars that stood at the entrance of King Solomon's temple. Jachin on the right, which means he shall establish. And then Boaz on the left, which means in it is strength. You need to look that up yourself because we don't have time. We have a lot to talk about today. And when I say a lot, I mean we have a whole lot. But I should probably quickly add what it means in summary so that you could just, do the rest of the homework yourself. To pass through those gates means to pass through a portal, to leave the profane things of the world behind and step into something new, glory, wealth, power. I mean, phenomenal, you guys, phenomenal. On one of my videos that went viral, I had spoken about Lagos Marina being a procession route. And I know that a lot of people were confused by that and what that meant. So now, I'm going to explain to you how their procession rituals would happen. Now, the governor and his entourage would access Lagos through the sea, right? They will be coming from the sea to Lagos. And when they would come from the sea, the first location they would meet is Marina, right? So they would be porting at Marina. They would move from the customs wharf on Marina to the old secretariats, which represented executive power. And from there, they would move to the courthouse, which represented legal power or judicial power. And I need you to know that this procession was timed. It was timed so that they would arrive at the St. George's Hall by 12 p.m. noon, when the sun was at its highest. And the scripture that is relevant to this is Psalm 91 verse 6, which says, "Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that wasteth at noonday." Look at where that procession would stop. It would end at the northeast corner of St. George's Hall. The northeast corner in masonry represents darkness, the uninitiated, the ignorant. I don't know. I might be wrong, but that's what I saw online. And in that corner, they would lay a foundation stone. It would be lowered into the ground. This is an image explaining exactly that. So symbolic of them bringing to us the light. They're just bringing light to us. And I guess we are super grateful for that. So I need to read this from my notes. I don't have time because we need to cover a lot. So I need to read this from my notes. So at 4 p.m. on January 5, 1907, Governor Walter Egerton, a master mason, lowered a lead casket into a hollow in that stone. Inside, brand new coins with the seal of Solomon, secret scrolls. Right, we don't know what was on the scrolls, by the way. And ritual oil, I believe that included libation as well. So they would seat the ground with their occult talisman. So they were basically just burying things in the ground and just constructing buildings on top of these talismans. I guess they're to give us, bring light to we who were ignorant, and we are so grateful for that, and we just appreciate them so much for doing that for us. Now, let us get into the nitty-gritty of this episode, because this is the major thing, right? We are getting into the major thing right now. First of all, I need you to understand symbolism. St. George's Hall represents spirituality. The courthouse represents legal authority, power, whatever. The old secretariat represents executive power. Now, I'm going to show you an image of these locations on Lagos map. Take a look at this. I have circled them here. I'm sorry, I'm not tech savvy, so I'm not good at using tools. I was hoping my brother could help me out, but he's not around. So this is what you guys get. Now, when you draw a straight line connecting these three locations together, guess what you get? You get a triangle. Wow. I mean, it's just so familiar. And in Masonry, according to Brother D.W. Nash, Freemasons Magazine, 4th page 294, the equilateral triangle represents the great first cause, creator, and container of all things as one and indivisible, manifesting itself in an infinite number of forms and attributes in its visible universe. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. In Egyptian hieroglyphics, the trowel, an important Masonic tool, has the shape of a triangle, symbolizing the darkness through which a candidate for initiation must pass. And I need you to know that when this procession, which takes place through the Marina Wharf, happens, they have to actually pass through all the routes that connect. There's 3 places together. I just thought to put that out there and, share that too. Now, there is something within this triangle that caught my attention. And normally it wouldn't have caught my attention. But however, some days ago, someone reached out to me and sent me a very interesting message. He told me, look up King's College in Lagos. And I said, why would I do that? What's my business with a secondary school in Lagos? Like, what does it have to do with what we're talking about? And he said, no, that the college is strange. And then he sent me their badge from 1909, the school badge from 1909. And I saw it and I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is a very interesting badge. I mean, that school was inaugurated just 2 years after, the St. George's Hall was built. So I just, okay. But you see, the thing is, after I mapped out that triangle, coincidentally, I discovered that the location of King's College was within the triangle itself. Okay, call me a conspiracy theorist. Call me a conspiracy theorist. I accept I'm crazy. I am crazy. Now, I could ignore King's College and say that it's irrelevant to this conversation, even though the badge looks really weird. But there's a reason why we have to talk about King's College. King's College was built on the 9th hour of the 9th month of 1909. I wonder what that could mean, right? And we see the badge, right? This is it again. Take a look at it again. With the mermaid on it, or Menusilin. I think I saw it online as Menusilin. Oh my goodness, don't let me stress myself. I'm just going to read it from my notes. The double-tailed Melusine is an alchemical mark of dualism. Do you know what else is dual? And then let me bring it together. It forms something interesting. I don't know. But you know what? You guys go do your research by yourself. I am not involved in this. I am not. But, I forgot to mention, everything I've said beforehand is alleged. Everything I've said so far is alleged. Everything I will say is alleged. I'm sure a lot of you know the famous American podcaster Candace Owens. You might not like her, but that is irrelevant to this conversation. However, there is something that she said in one of her podcasts. There's something that she said in one of her videos some time back. I can't remember the specific video, but it's relevant. She said that she believes that world leaders are groomed from childhood to eventually becoming global powers in the world. And when she said that, I actually brooded on it for a bit. I brooded on it for I think a few days. But why is that relevant? Because when you look up the founding students, right, those are the first set of students who attended King's College. They're very interesting. I mean, these men were nationalists. They were just breaking walls and breaking barriers. They were great men, right? And then I just curiously decided to look up King's College alumni, also known as Kingsmen, by the way. And wow. I was so amazed to find out that a lot of our political leaders actually went through King's College. Isn't that interesting? I mean, King's College should be proud of being able to give us so many political leaders. However, that badge was changed in the late 1950s, by the way, to something good, better, an elephant. I think it represents strength, I don't know. But let's leave this conversation and move to something else now. The final thing I would like to talk about this evening is the campus square. I might be wrong. I'm actually openly saying this. I might be wrong about this. But like I said, I could not really use my tools the way I wanted to use it. But if you are good with tools and you could look this up yourself, I would be happy to take a look at your findings. So I asked AI, right? Where would all those points converge, right? If I drew a straight line from St. George's Hall, the old court, the old secretariat, and I try to converge those lines to the middle, what would be that convergence point? And it showed me, and AI said, that would be Campus Square. And then looked up Campus Square online, and I saw just a lot of interesting things about Campus Square. A lot of interesting things. But you know what? I am going to throw it to the audience. I am actually just going to throw it to you, the audience. Right. Tell me, my fellow Lagosians, what's up about Campus Square? Is this a real place? Am I imagining things? Because I checked Campus Square online. I mean, what was Campus Square in 1914? I needed so many resources on this. That is all for today, guys. That is all for today. Like I said, like this post, share it on your story, repost it, leave a comment, educate me. I'm not claiming to know everything, like I've always said, but to some degree, I know enough.